Hi everybody, my name is Buck Ganley, and the painting I chose for this project was Roger de la Fresnay's painting Conquest of the Air, which he painted in 1913. One important thing to know about Mr. Fresnay is that he was one of the founders of a kind of offshoot of Cubism, uh, named the Coteau Group, which took Cubism and they emphasized on the mathematical aspects of it, using the golden ratio to bring order to something that was fairly chaotic in nature. Um, one of the things that makes this painting, though, this painting is its name, Conquest of the Air. So if you look here, everything, almost a lot of the things in the painting have lines that are pointing up. See his brother and him having a discussion at this table, and their arms are positioned in a way such that brother's arm is pointing up into the air and both their arms are doing the same thing. You see these houses in the background which have steeples that point up into the air. You see this flag here is hanging up in the air, seeming pointing up straight, and what can be perceived as a boat maybe in the background here, pointing with its sails straight up in the air. And it was very important that he points straight up in the air with the name like Conquest of the Air because it's emphasizing, and even with the flag here, you can see it's emphasizing the hot air balloon. There's one of up here in the sky. And actually, the hot air balloon was kind of first designed in France, so that's why I believe that he put this uh, flag here of France, is that it's representing France finally kind of taking off and using the hot air balloon. Um, about the actual art style, he took kind of influence off of this guy's book, which said nothing in nature really has geometrical shapes. In fact, a lot of nature is drawn amorphously. And he said, "Well, what if this is wrong? What if it were all just basic Euclidean shapes?" So he uses these clouds here are not like lumps; they're actual spheres. The table here is just rectangles. See this? Even these guys, you can shoulders kind of you've got like a box here, and there's really no what you might call amorphous shapes. They're just a composition of a bunch of other shapes, and that's really what I wanted to take away were these themes of lines pointing upward to the sky and using these amorphous shapes to not using these Euclidean, like basic Euclidean shapes to compose a scene. So let me just get over to my work here. So, um, first of all, to be like something like Conquest of the Air, you have to have something in the air. So I just kind of put a little hot air balloon up there with a little box just to reference. That's how it was, and the flag because I believe those are what make the painting the painting. Um, and then I took these little basic shapes. So I have cones, I have spheres, little cylinders here, and even the person here is just made out of basic shapes. Um, it's not super impressive, but what I tried to get to do with all of these, the the trees kind of point upwards with their limbs. The flagpole points directly upwards. You see the fountain here has a little stream of water that points upwards, and the house in the background there kind of points upwards. Now, proportions are a little bit wonky because I thought it was necessary to have this take on proportions in here that wasn't necessarily realistic, but from a distance, it looks right. This guy is in the foreground sitting at a table, but you get a little bit closer and you see, well, this table is actually just positioned so it looks right at a certain angle. And in reality, it's a little bit wonky. And same with this house here. As you can see, it's way smaller than that guy. He's never gonna get a house. Um, and I made clouds out of spheres, as you can tell, that are just kind of lumped together. Uh, Another thing I tried to do with the textures on here is to get them kind of to have a similar texture, I used a paint texture, like a kind of a painted uh, texture for all of these objects. So they actually all have the same texture. If you were to go up and look at that hot air balloon, it has the same texture, and I thought that was necessary to create the same kind of coherence in the painting of everything, kind of not having that complicated of textures to them. They're all kind of the same painted texture. Um, so that's kind of what I took away from it. I got this nice little green grass, like painted texture. It is different from the rest just because uh, give it a little bit of grounding. But that's kind of what I took away from this. I had a lot of fun making this. Thanks.